जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनच्छलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् शरणरीता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकांत राधाकांत नमोस्तुते। सप्तकांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंश कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पीतानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीधरनाथ स्वामी नामने नमो पादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे चालम पंगुम लंघयते गिरिम यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरं। हरे कृष्ण. So great pleasure again being with all of you wonderful devotees. This auspicious day, not only it is Kumbha time, yesterday we had the wonderful Basanta Panchami festival. Today is the very auspicious day of Sri Advaita Acharya's appearance. So that is another wonderful uh, celebration today. Advaita Acharya, who's one of the Panchatattva, is also the main reason, one of the most important reasons mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita as the reason why Lord Chaitanya decided to appear in this world. He was the active agent of beckoning the Lord to come. And the Lord appeared in this world. And you can see in the background Advaita Acharya in the white dress, just next to Lord Nityananda, amongst the most elderly amongst the Panchatattva, almost like a fatherly figure to Lord Chaitanya, who appeared and prayed for the appearance of Lord Chaitanya. And in that way, saved all of us by giving us this opportunity. So, our eternal gratitude to the lotus feet of Sri Advaita Acharya. He is one of the great Prabhus. There is Mahaprabhu and there are two Prabhus, Lord Nityananda and Advaita Acharya. Nityananda is not different from Balaram. Advaita Acharya is a combined incarnation of Sadashiva and Mahavishnu. So we can, express our gratitude by offering our obeisance to the lotus, the Advaita Acharya ki. So we are continuing our Chaitanya Pravaha. We are currently experiencing a Triveni Sangam in Prayag, in our Katha also. What is the Triveni Sangam? Lord Chaitanya is there and Rupa and Sri Vallabha, they have come together. Lord Chaitanya was in Varanasi. From there he came to Prayag. Rupa and Sri Vallabha were heading towards Vrindavan to meet the Lord, but were pleasantly surprised to find him in Prayag at Triveni. And We discussed how Lord Chaitanya sat down with Rupa Goswami in an isolated place. It is said on the Dashashwamedh Ghat. 10 days he instructed Rupa Goswami in the science of devotion. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is very emphatic that Lord Chaitanya was so liberal and profuse in giving his blessings to Srila Rupa Goswami. He not only instructed him, but he empowered him to fully and deeply understand the full purport of those statements. Right? Many of us, many devotees, especially the devotees who have been for a long time. I have been probably reading Prabhupada's book since 1985, 86, roughly. So that is what, 25, around 40 years. But even after this, even after around 40 odd years of reading Prabhupada's books, even now when we read it again and again and again, we are able to understand more and more deeper. Why I'm trying to say this is, and we realize that actually we didn't quite grasp the full purport earlier. And then when we think we have understood, after some time we realize, oh, my previous understanding wasn't so complete. Not that it was wrong, wasn't so complete, wasn't so mature. Now I have a broader, deeper, sweeter understanding where I can understand more and I can have more deeper faith and I can relate and connect various concepts of Krishna consciousness. So this is the experience for all devotees, even for newer ones. Even so, even for those who have been 20, 30, 40 years, even for those who have been practicing Krishna consciousness for many lifetimes, even for those who are pure devotees, they are also saying, I am also discovering Krishna more and more and more and more. And this is an eternal process because Krishna is unlimited understanding and tasting Krishna's sweetness and his pastimes, his glories is also an unlimited. If Krishna himself hasn't been able to catch up, what to speak of it. Anyway, why I'm mentioning this is that Lord Chaitanya, with Rupa Goswami, it was not like this, okay, I have heard it now once, now what have I really understood? No, it was fully empowered. And we discussed this in quite a bit of detail in the last class. Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale. He understood Lord Chaitanya's heart perfectly and he was empowered to establish the desire of the Lord in this world. So, very wonderful discussion. And Rupa Goswami was especially instructed to write about the science of bhakti. Bhakti, rasa, amrit. Lord Chaitanya, of course, begins by saying that I cannot describe the ocean of devotional service because the ocean is unlimited. Who can describe the ocean? Rather, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a drop and let us analyze and taste that drop. And from that drop, you can get some idea of the ocean. And that is how it is. Right? Correct? It's like, we are thirsty and we go on the bank of the ocean, At the end of the day, all we have is a small glass which we can fill. And a huge tsunami comes. How much water can we actually gather? So, we can never drink the ocean. Similarly, the unlimited expanse of the ocean of devotional service can never be spanned in its entirety by anyone. To even say that is too much. Beyond even our ability to even taste a drop, it's already too much. Limited the Lord is. So in the instructions to Srila Rupa Goswami, Lord Chaitanya first of all started, and this is what we discussed last time, by explaining how rare devotional service is. First, he speaks about the different categories of human beings, from uncivilized to civilized, to the karmis, to the impersonalists, finally to the devotees. And amongst the devotees, how the living entity who is, actually just 1/10,000 the tip of a hair, so small, unlimited living entities which are all over the universe, the very, 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 very few who are fortunate enough to take to spiritual life within the human form of life, which is a small percent. How small, I can't even estimate. Very, 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 very small. Even amongst those who are religious, most are karmis. Even amongst karmis, most of them are, dhakosla, pretenders. Amongst those who are sincere, very few are actually genuinely pious. Out of them, few are interested in knowledge. Out of them, few are higher. Few achieve liberation. Out of many who achieve liberation, hardly anyone is even interested in pure devotion. So, मुक्तानामपि सिद्धानां नारायण परायणः दुर्लभो प्रशांतात्मा कोटिषु अपि महाम. Very, very rare. So all these things we discuss. Now, after giving him an overview of how rare it is to achieve, to be a devotee, even amongst liberated souls. Please note, this is a very specific point. Lord Chaitanya is not just saying that a devotee is rare amongst humans. Please understand. Lord Chaitanya is saying, Muktanam api siddhanam, out of all the siddhas, and Muktal, actually liberated soul. Find one devotee of Lord Narayan, pure devotee, yeah? Who's a pure devotee? Anya bhilashita shunyam jnana karmadhyana. No other motivation other than serving and pleasing God. Such a completely satisfied and peaceful devotee is very rare to find. Now, Lord Chaitanya, after giving this background of the rarity of devotional service and how devotional service, because the jiva, the 1/10,000 tip of the hair, is a part and parcel of the Lord, it is his natural position to be a devotee of the Lord. And this Lord Chaitanya established way in the beginning of his sermon to Sri Rupa. He quotes that verse from the Bhagavad where the personified Vedas are praying to the Lord, saying, "O Lord, because we are part and parcel, because we are ten, it is natural we are under your control. It is natural we are to be your devotees. It is natural for us that we should be serving you. If we were actually you, and if we were God, like some philosophers claim, I am God, you are God, we are all God, we've just forgotten. How could that be possible? Because then we would not even be under Maya's control if we were actually God, nor would we in a position of subservience to you. But that is our eternal position. It is the truth. So Lord Chaitanya explained about the rarity of devotional service. Lord Chaitanya established the eternality of the jiva's position as part and parcel of Krishna and eternally as a devotee and servant of Krishna. Now Lord Chaitanya is entering that part of his instructions to Sri Rupa where he's explaining the process of devotional service. Abhideya. Lord Chaitanya starts by saying that generally living entities are wandering all over the universe based on their karma. Sometimes they are going to higher planets, sometimes they are going to sometimes human, animals, this, that. Very rare amongst millions and millions of such wandering living entities. If someone becomes very, very fortunate, becomes very, very fortunate, then such a person, such a living entity gets the opportunity to associate with a bona fide spiritual master. By Krishna's grace, ब्रह्मांड भ्रमिते को न भाग्यवान जीव Guru Krishna prasade paye bhakti lata bija. And what does Guru do to him? It's not that Guru takes some donation, gives blessing, oh, may your family prosper, may all your business problems disappear. Prabhupada will say that is not the job of the Guru. By mercy of Guru and Krishna, the combined mercy, Guru Krishna prasade paye Bhakti Lata Bija, a truly fortunate living entity from the Guru, backed by the grace of Krishna, becomes the fortunate recipient of the seed of the creeper of pure devotional service. Shuddha Bhakti. Who can give this seed? Can any Guru give this seed? Only a pure devotee can give the seed of pure devotional service. Even ordinary liberated souls cannot give unless they are devotees of the Lord. Simple principle. One can give only what one has. Correct? That's why even when Hiranyakashipu went to Brahmaji, he's so powerful. Give me immortality. Baba, ask something which I have. I also have to die. You cannot go to a Lakpati and ask for crore in donation. I cannot give. I myself don't have. So a pure devotee carries Krishna within the heart because he has experienced pure devotion. He is able to inject the seed. The seed conception of pure devotional service will install in the heart of the ready recipient, the sincere soul. It's very, very, very rare. It's truly very rare. If we have been fortunate enough to get that seed in the association of devotees and Lord Chaitanya's movement, it may not seem that rare because the floodgates have been opened. Lord Chaitanya and his representatives are running around all over the world distributing the seed. So it will say, Prabhu, not so rare, Prabhu. So many devotees are chasing me to attend classes, to chant the holy name, to do this, to do that. Please understand, this happens once in a day of Brahma. Not so easy. And even then, so many people are still unable to receive that good fortune. So when a sincere person who becomes fortunate to receive the seed of devotional service, that seed gets planted in his heart. So the heart is like a soil, and the seed of pure devotional service gets planted in that heart. And Lord Chaitanya tells Rupa that when the seed is in a good soil, what is a good soil? Good soil is a good heart, a faithful heart, a heart which has sincerity, a heart which has seriousness to develop in devotional service. If you throw a seed on a barren ground, what happens? The seed will not grow. So the soil must be fertile. The seed must be good, given by the devotee. But very important, Rupa Goswami is told by Lord Chaitanya. The farmer, the devotee, should be very careful to properly take care of this seed. Now, how does a farmer take care of a seed? By regularly watering it. Because if you don't water, if you simply put seeds in the soil after plowing it and then go away for vacation and come back after 3 months, it's not very likely something may happen. But regularly one needs to water. So what is the watering process? Lord Chaitanya says the watering process for the seed of pure devotional service is the process of Shravana and Kirtan. When this seed is watered by Shravana and Kirtan, hearing and chanting regularly, not that today I did, after that I did in 1 month's time, then I did, when it was my, birthday, then after that I did on my wedding anniversary, and, once in a while, the seed is not going to sprout very well, or grow very well, or it will sprout, dry up, sprout, dry up. Regular watering is important. Then the seed will sprout. Then the creeper will grow and grow nicely and luxuriantly. The devotee must be careful. Lord Chaitanya says to continue to nourish by hearing and chanting. So Lord Chaitanya is very, very emphatic. The main process to develop the Bhakti Lata is hearing and chanting. To chant regularly, attentively, and with faith and devotion, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And regularly hear and discuss the Bhagavad, the Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and other devotionals in the association of. As this Bhakti Lata creeper starts growing with proper cultivation, it is said it grows, and goes taller and taller and taller. It grows through all the 14 planetary systems, going up, comes to the covering of the universe, penetrates the covering of the universe, goes even beyond it, goes beyond the Viraja river, into the spiritual world, into the Brahman effulgence, then even penetrating through the Brahman effulgence, even further into the Vaikuntha planets, finally going all the way up to Goloka Vrindavan, where the creeper finally finds its resting place at the lotus feet of Lord Shyam Sundar in Goloka. So don't stop hearing and chanting until you reach that destination. The devotee should not think, oh, now my creeper has reached the layers of the universe, enough. Or it has reached Brahmalok, enough. Janarlok, enough. No, no, no. The destination is the lotus feet of Krishna. One should continue following the process of Shravan and Kirtan until one attains shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. Once the creeper reaches the lotus feet of Krishna, it is said that creeper bears its true fruit, which is what we are looking for. What fruit we want? Mango, durian, jackfruit. No, no, not that kind of fruit. This is not that kind of a tree. This is the creeper of Bhakti Lata. What fruit does it produce? Bhakti Lata, when it reaches the lotus feet of Krishna, it produces the fruit of prem, love, pure love. So even though the devotee is still in the material world, the creeper has reached Golok, the fruit has developed, the ripened fruit of Krishna Prem. And he is able to taste the nectar of that fruit of Prema even while he is. That is our goal. So, the sum and substance of the process of devotional service, Lord Chaitanya explains, be sincere enough to receive the seed of devotional service from the spiritual master, receive instructions from the spiritual master on the execution of devotional service, especially in the process of hearing and chanting, and continue to diligently, sincerely, and seriously follow the process of hearing and chanting in the association of devotees until the point that the creeper touches the lotus feet of Krishna and bears the fruit of prem. You may say, not after that. After that, you will not even stop. Not that you can. Once you develop prem, you cannot stop but hear and chant. Hearing and chanting never stops. But until we reach the final destination, we may not be 100%. So there is a chance that there may be some relapse. Correct? Just like when we are in a diseased condition, if we get little better and we stop taking medicine, or we, don't follow the diet properly, what happens? There's a relapse. Again, the symptoms of the disease come. That kind of a danger is always there. So one should not be careless. After saying this, Lord Chaitanya draws Rupa Goswami's attention to a very, very important point. He says, while the devotee may be cultivating this creeper by hearing and chanting, one thing is very important to be careful of. That there is one big danger that can disrupt and destroy this creeper of devotional service, even while the gardener, the sadhaka, is continuing to cultivate by hearing and chanting. That danger one must be very, very careful. What is that danger? That danger is the danger of committing an aparad, an offense to the lotus feet of a great Vaishnava, pure devotee. That kind of an offense, Lord Chaitanya compares it to a hatti matha, mad elephant offense. What is a mad elephant offense? When an elephant is dangerous enough, when he is, rampaging through a garden. But if an elephant is intoxicated and maddened, and he enters a flower and fruit garden, what happens? He will trample over and uproot everything and ruin the garden altogether. And eventually the entire creeper will be uprooted and dried up. All the leaves will be dried up. So one should be very careful not to commit such an offense at the lotus feet of the great devotee. So Rupa, please make sure that this point is highlighted. He doesn't say it explicitly, but he's emphasizing that. And Rupa Goswami, in his verse writes that the gardener must defend this creeper by fencing it around to protect it from any mad elephant entering, which essentially means be very careful not to offend great souls. Sometimes we are very quick to judge great souls, we criticize great souls. There are many ways in which we can offend, and that's a big topic by itself. I will not go into that now. But the most common offense for us is verbal criticism. Most of us will not go to the point of physically attacking and beating up a Vaishnava. Yeah, at least I don't think in this class I need to go into that. Please don't kick, please don't beat, please don't poison, please don't kill Vaishnava. I don't think I need to, obviously all those are extremely serious offenses. But for most of us, it is about ninda, sadhu ninda, Vaishnava ninda. He's like this, he's like that. And we take pleasure in criticizing and gossiping about. The more advanced a devotee is, the more it will harm us. And oftentimes we don't know who's how advanced. Very often we don't know who is who. So best to be very careful to not criticize anyone, especially devotees. Best to not criticize anyone or hurt anyone. Jiva himsa is also harmful, but especially sadhu ninda, satam ninda, very, very dangerous. It is in fact one of the offenses against the holy name as well. So carefully guard. And then he warns about another danger, two dangers. One is Vaishnava Prag and the other is the unwanted weeds of other desires will also crop up. As the plant of bhakti is growing, some weeds also grow. Right? When we are gardening something, we put in a pot, we put a plant. But when we water, we see not only the main plant is coming, also some weeds are coming. Why weeds are coming? Because when you are watering, there are already some seeds of some other weeds which are dormant within the soil, isn't it? Huh? So some sprouts of some weeds also come up. But what happens? Whatever water, nourishment we are putting for the main plant, it also goes to the weeds. And if you are not careful, the weeds will grow so much that they will overpower the plant and take away the nutrition which is meant for the main plant. And the weeds will eventually overwhelm the main bhakti creeper. So these are the weeds of other desires. What are the other desires? When a person develops in bhakti, other things also develop. For example, desire for importance, worship. Oh, now I've become great devotee. I'm giving nice class. I'm doing big service. I've become temple president. I'm a preacher. I'm a counselor. I'm this. I am whatever. So, there will be some pride. There will be some demand or expectation of service, some expectation of honor. That becomes so much the focus for the devotee that is hearing and chanting is more towards nourishing that, propagating his own name, fame, glory, rather than serving and pleasing Krishna. So then that whole endeavor of watering, and the water goes to the weeds rather than to the actual bhakti kripa. Lord Chaitanya gives various other examples. He says one should be careful of all these weeds. Diplomatic behavior. Kutinati. Kutinati means diplomatic behavior. Means not being straightforward. Animal killing. Jiva himsa. Mundane profiteering. Doing devotional service or expecting some gain in return. If I do this, I'll get some money, I'll get some control, I'll build a temple, then I can control it, I can manage it. I will preach to so many people, so I'll have a big following, then I can control them and rule over them, and enjoy the adoration of others worshipping me and glorifying me. Hari Bol, Prabhu, Jai. Ah, yes, I am Prabhu, I am so wonderful. So all these things are the weeds, and they will come when a person starts progressing in devotion. They will automatically come because a devotee naturally shines. A devotee is attractive. Oftentimes, money will come, following will come, appreciation will come, but the devotee has to be very careful. All this is for Krishna's service. Idam Krishnaya, idam na mama. Whatever is coming as a consequence of devotional service, I should not be. It is not for me. It is for me to engage and channel towards what Chaitanya wants. If one is not able to distinguish what is bhakti creeper nourishment and what is other creepers, then one is lost. Then the other creepers will grow so much they will overwhelm the bhakti creeper, and then bhakti creeper will not develop very well. And this is what often happens in the lives of devotees. At one stage, they get trapped into this kind of other creepers or aparad, and they stagnate their progress, either stagnate or destroy. Stagnate their progress and only grow laterally. Laterally, this way bhakti creeper is growing. Lateral growth means all these other things are growing. Position is growing, fame is growing, control is growing. And one starts equating with these growths as growth in devotion. One becomes bewildered into things. But actually, one is just watering the materialistic tendencies within the heart. Actual, no deeper growth of Krishna consciousness. And this kind of stagnation goes on for decades, can go on even for lifetimes, unless one is careful to weed out these creepers. An intelligent devotee, as soon as he sees and notices an unwanted creeper, he must immediately pluck it out or cut it. And if he is very careful and attentive in this, Lord Chaitanya says, the Bhakti Lata will grow very, very nice. And sometimes it's very difficult to identify this unwanted creeper. That's why one needs the close association of devotees who are also very sincere, serious, and similarly carefully avoiding their unwanted creepers. In such a situation, one is able to understand the difference between the Bhakti Lata and the unwanted creeper. Lord Chaitanya is very clear. Make sure main Bhakti Lata is growing nicely without being overwhelmed with any unwanted creepers, without being trampled over by the mad elephant of offenses, and eventually develops the fruit of Prem at the lotus feet of Krishna. The lotus feet of Krishna are the wish fulfilling tree which will satisfy the deepest spiritual desires of the heart of each devotee. That is what we are actually hankering for. That is what we are actually searching for. Then he will be able to taste the juice of prema, and then he will be eternally happy. That is perfect. To taste this fruit of Krishna Prem in devotional service to Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan is the highest perfection of life. And in front of that perfection, there is other Artha, Dharma, Kama, Moksha, they are so petty. Huh? For people who are not very advanced, even Bhakti sadhakas at the early stage, we appreciate, oh, this impersonal realization, wow, the trance of the yogis, wow, Brahman realization, wow, the siddhis of the yogis, wow. Huh? But as soon as even a whiff of pure love for Krishna, as soon as it enters into the life of devotee, he realizes, Hare Baba, what I was thinking was valuable is actually so insignificant as compared to pure devotion. Pure devotional service is the perfect medicinal herb which will actually control Lord Krishna within the heart and give such satisfaction to the devotee that everything else appears very, very trivial and empty. Then Lord Chaitanya starts telling Rupa Goswami, now I will describe to you what are some of the symptoms of this pure devotional service. I briefly described the process to you of this creeper, what to be careful about, and how to water it nicely. Now let me describe what is the symptom. Please understand, Rupa, first class pure devotional service. I will define to you now what is Uttama Bhakti. And then he quotes a very, very famous verse. What is that famous verse? Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavratam anukulyena Krishna anushilanam bhaktiruttama. Please understand this pure devotion, pure devotion. I'm speaking again and again and again. So many karmis also do some type of devotion. Jnanis also do some type of devotion. About that, I'm talking about pure devotional service, because without that Uttama Bhakti, one cannot attain this fruit. And what is the characteristic of that Uttama Bhakti? Anya Apilashita. That pure devotion is that in which one is continuously engaged in serving Krishna favorably. Favorably means for pleasing Krishna, to satisfy Krishna, not just the way one wants. But when pure devotional service, for it to properly develop, it must not be covered over either by jnana or karma. What does that mean? Material motivations or desire for materialistic, for impersonal liberation or speculative knowledge must not cover up devotion. Jnana, karmadi, anavritam, uncovered. That is known as Kevala Bhakti, Uttama Bhakti. A pure devotee, bottom line, Lord Chaitanya is saying, pure devotee, the bottom line is, he must not cherish any other desire than to serve Krishna. He is not even interested in worshipping any other personality other than Krishna, even as a Devata. Not that he disrespects the Devata, but he is very focused. My prayojan, my goal is to attain Radha Krishna Jugal Kishore Seva in Braj. That's all. And he doesn't need, nor is he interested in cultivating speculative knowledge aimed at impersonal realization, which is devoid of Krishna consciousness. And actually, Rupa, it is not even necessary for a devotee to engage in any other process other than devotional service. Some people think, oh, we must take help of this process, that process. If one is engaged with a clean desire, pure desire that I want only pure love for Krishna, then there is no need to take shelter of any other process other than the process of engaging in the limbs of bhakti. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Swaranam. Our whole end goal is to engage our purified senses in the service of the Lord. What if our senses are not yet purified? We still continue to serve, and through the process of service, the senses get purified, and then they can perfectly engage in Krishna's service. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhaktir Uchate. This is one of the definitions of devotion given by Narad Muni. Engaging the senses in the service of the master of the sense. This kind of seva is Shuddha Bhakti. If one renders this kind of Shuddha Bhakti, then his original love for Krishna will be awake. By Mishra Bhakti, by motivated service, by service which is motivated for material attainment or heavenly attainment, or even Bhakti which is motivated by desire for liberation, oh Lord, save me from this world. That will not give prem. That may give liberation, that may give heavenly planets. Prem will not come from it. Prem is when you love Lord for the sake of love, not for any other sake. And all these things are described in the various Pancharatras like Narada Pancharatra and the Srimad Bhagavatam. All that I am telling you is all described there. So that is bhakti. Huh? Bhakti is where the soul becomes free from all material designation. Sarvopadhi vinirmuktvam tat paratvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchyate. Narad Muni. And this is what Lord Chaitanya quotes here. When one engages in bhakti, what happens? Gradually all the material coverings of the soul disappear. Currently the soul has various designations. I am born in so and so family, I am Indian, I am this, I am engineer, I am doctor, I am great person, I am this, I am wealthy, I am whatever designations, I am so and so's father. Various millions of designations we have gathered, all based on one's false identity at the bodily level. When one becomes free through the process of Shuddha Bhakti, through all these designations, the senses also become purified of all materialistic tendencies. And one engages the pure spiritualized senses without any coverings of false ego directly in the service of the Lord of the senses. This perfect transcendental Para Bhakti. That is what we want. And our consciousness at that stage will be like the water of the Ganges, which is flowing unobstructed towards the ocean. And hearing my pastimes, Krishna says this verse and Lord Chaitanya is quoting, when devotees hear my pastimes, their heart swells with so much love. It's like the Ganges which flows towards the ocean. Their hearts come towards me. And because of that, I always reside in their hearts. This kind of bhakti is very, very powerful, Rupa. It is causeless. It is a special blessing of the Supreme Lord. And it cannot be obstructed by any material situation or something. In fact, this bhakti is so attractive. This pure bhakti, where the exclusive desire of the devotee is to serve and please the Lord's transcendental senses. This bhakti is so deeply satisfying to the devotee that in front of this bhakti, my devotees, Lord Chaitanya quotes another verse from the Bhagavatam, do not even accept the other four types of mukti. Salokya, Samipya, Sarshti. And Sarshti, Sarupya and Samipya. Yeah, Salokya, Sarshti, Samipya and Sarupya. What to speak of Sayuja, which is oneness. Even if I give them these liberations are okay as long as I can directly associate with you and render service to you. If I simply have to be in Vaikuntha in a liberated way and live in Vaikuntha, if I don't have any direct service to you, no fun. Devotee is not interested. You give me all the opulences of Vaikuntha, my Lord, what is the point? I'll be staying in Vaikuntha, I'll be having all opulences of Vaikuntha, I'll be somewhere nearby you, I may once in a while I'll see you, but all that is not enough for me. I am okay to be on earth as long as I have the opportunity to render direct personal devotional service to you in love. And that is what the heart of a devotee. A devotee is not excited about Vaikuntha because there are airplanes there, there is no birth, old age, disease, death. All these things are, but these are all side benefits. for the devotee. They are not his focus. Because the devotee is not interested in the liberation part of Vaikuntha. He is interested in the seva part of Goloka. That kind of bhakti is the real goal of life. It's the ultimate goal of life. There's no higher attainment than that. And simply by executing that kind of devotional service, one can easily transcend the modes of nature. In fact, the modes of nature cannot be transcended without performing pure devotional service. And Krishna says this in the Bhagavad Gita as well. Sagunan samatitaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Only those who render pure devotion to me, they can transcend over the modes of matter and attain pure devotion. So one should be careful not to be infected by desires for material enjoyment or even material liberation, because they will pull one down from reaching the platform of pure devotional service. Even though externally the sadhaka may be seen reading Bhagavatam, speaking about pure devotion, doing, deep inside if he is cultivating desires for material gain, even within a spiritual setting, even in a spiritual setting, wanting position, name, glory, recognition, followers, or wanting liberation. Even though one may executing the limbs of pure devotional service externally, one will not actually be raised to the platform of pure devotional service. So be careful of these two witches, the witches of material attraction and the witch of liberation. Lord Chaitanya says, as long as these witches remain within the heart, how one can actually taste the transcendental bliss of pure devotion? Cannot. So Prabhupada, the Bhagavad Gita, I think it's in the chapter, I forgot, was it the second chapter? In one of the purports, he says very nicely, very sweetly. He says, anyone who is trying to become, this statement of Rupa hit me so hard. I just always remember this, even though I myself struggle with the witches. He says, anyone who's trying to, especially a devotee sadhaka, who's trying to become important in a material or a spiritual sense, cannot taste the really sweet taste of devotional service. What that means? If one really wants to taste Krishna Prem, the sweet joy of devotion, pure devotion, then one has to give up these kind of tendencies. The tendency to become great, the tendency to be somebody big. If by Krishna's will and desire and blessing one happens to attain something, automatically one uses it in Krishna's service. That's a different issue. But one doesn't cultivate and harbor those kind of desires and work and navigate one's path to become big and important. Then one actually is impeding one's own ability to taste the nectar of devotional service. Please be clear about this. This is very, very important for serious sadhaka. When one is careful of this and one continues to regularly engage in devotional service, then one's attachment to the Lord, transcendental attachment, gradually becomes strong and strong and strong and eventually becomes condensed to prema. Stage by stage by stage. By initial little fade to little attraction, that attraction goes to taste, that taste goes to deep attachment comes to bhava, ecstatic emotion, and ecstatic emotion eventually becomes great ecstasy of prema. And Lord Chaitanya compares that process of intensifying, increase in intensity of love for Krishna, like the different states of sugar. Very nice analogy. Different states of sugar. So when sugar is made, first there is sugarcane juice. Correct? Of course, even before sugarcane juice, first there's the seed of the sugarcane. Then the sugarcane comes out. Then from the sugarcane, a juice is extracted. Correct? That juice is boiled, boiled, boiled. That's the bhakti process. First, the seed is there, and the juice is taken. The juice has to be boiled. Why the juice is boiled? All impurities are removed, and the condensation of the nectar is happening as the juice is boiled. That is how bhakti becomes sweeter. As the other things go away and the water is removed and more condensation happens, the sugar starts coming together, starts intensifying. The boiling continues, it becomes liquid molasses. The liquid molasses eventually becomes solid molasses. Then it turns into sugar. Then it becomes candy. Then it becomes rock candy. And finally, it becomes lozenges. Rupa uses the word lozenge, which becomes practically like crystallized, deeply crystallized sugar. So all these stages of intensifying attachment to the Lord, resulting in prem, eventually come to what is known as Sthai Bhav. Sthai Bhav is that technical term which is used by our acharyas, and Rupa Goswami is instructed in this by Lord Chaitanya. Sthai Bhav means steady mood. A devotee eventually becomes settled, fixed in a steady mood of love in relationship with the Lord in a particular way. And then Lord Chaitanya mentions some things technically which I'll not go into detail because those are more detailed covered in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Maybe someday we'll discuss there. But he says in addition to the Sthai Bhav, there are various stages known as the Vibhava and Anubhava. And when this kind of an ecstatic love is mixed with symptoms of Sattvika and Vyabhichari, a devotee relishes even more transcendental taste in relationship and service to the Supreme Lord. So these two topics about what are the Sattvic and Vyabhichari symptoms, that is discussed in great detail in Nectar of Devotion. Will not go into that. Vibhav and Anubhav is also discussed there, so we'll not go into that. Even in this chapter, Lord Chaitanya doesn't go. He gives in seed form to Lord Chaitanya, to Rupa, and Rupa is expected to elaborate. Lord Chaitanya says, this is how it becomes flavorful. When the sthai bhav, the steady love of the devotee is combined with this vibhav and anubhav, along with flavored with the symptoms of sattvika and vyabhichari, it becomes very tasty. It becomes a tasty recipe. Sugar is already tasty, but when it is mixed with a combination of yogurt, sugar candy, ghee, black pepper, and camphor, it's sweet but still so flavorful. Becomes real nectar. That's what Lord Chaitanya explained. Because I have never tried this combination, so I don't know what it tastes like, but seems to be some exciting preparation, which is both extremely sweet and also very flavorful. A mixture of various tastes: yogurt, sugar candy, ghee, black pepper, camphor. Very interesting recipe. If you want to try out, you can try this out and see. Of course, don't use the burning camphor. Burning camphor and eating camphor are different camphor. Well, you'll end up burning yourself. So, you know, so basically, he's saying on the platform of that pure love with various variations, various beautiful transcendental tastes come up, which actually are so flavorful and relishable that a devotee really, his heart enjoys at a level of such sweetness and pleasure that nothing else seems attractive. All these other things, liberation, material benefit, heaven, everything is useless. He is not even willing to look at that. So I'm going to stop here. Actually, I have 5 more minutes, but there's another topic which is about to start. I'll just tell you what that topic is, and then we'll start that conversation in the next class. Lord Chaitanya, now that you mentioned about Sthai Bhav. Sthai Bhav means a fixed mood in relationship with the Lord, a particular bhav. On top of that foundational bhav of Sthai Bhav, various kinds of emotions and other bhavas erupt. So that description Lord Chaitanya is going to enter into, and this is where Lord Chaitanya enters into Sthai Bhav of 5 types, where he enters into description of the 5 main rasas, which are the 5 principal types of Sthai Bhav, you can say. Shanta, Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhura. These are the 5 varieties of transcendental attachment to the Lord in pure love. And on top of that attachment, various other emotions erupt in their interaction with the Lord and serving Him, and that makes that gives great transcendental rasa and taste to the devotee's heart. So that topic we'll discuss in detail. A fair amount of discussion is there on these rasas. The primary rasas, the secondary rasas, what is the difference between the 5 rasas, and some examples, and what are the characteristics of that rasa. All these things are described very nicely. Aishwarya Bhakti, Madhurya Bhakti, that is also described in the subsequent verses. So that we will cover as a topic for the next class. And hopefully next session we'll be able to complete this chapter. So thank you very much. Any questions, comments? Yeah, Suresh Prabhu.
Prabhu, last week's doubt, right, Prabhu? One doubt I have. You said like liberation from birth and death, and the full potential of bhakti is mukti. So what is the difference, Prabhu? Even liberation from birth and death will go to Vaikuntha planet, right, Prabhu?
No, full potential of mukti is bhakti. Other way around, not full potential of bhakti is mukti. Other way around. So the liberation is the entry point. Liberation from birth and death is about transcending from material nature. When one transcends material nature, then either one can go into Brahman, if one is an impersonalist. If one has Aishwarya Bhakti, then one may go up to Vaikuntha. Then one has Madhurya Bhakti, then one can go to Vraja. Right? All are liberated. Liberated in the sense, liberated from karma, liberated from the cycle of birth and death. But within that liberation, there are multiple levels of attainment. The highest being Bhakti, and within Bhakti, highest being Braj, and within Braj, the highest being Madhurya.
Yeah. Good. Thank you very much.
Yes. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah, Madhuri. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Indulekha.
Yeah, Indulekha Mataji. Go ahead.
Prabhu, I just want to ask you, can a woman go through this kind of advancement, like you're getting all this high rasas like that?
Why are you asking this question?
No, because I know because men usually have the association, and they are always together, and then they can get those things. Can a woman go through this? No.
There is no, what Chaitanya said, there is no material impediment to devotional service. So, man's body or woman's body, ultimately from the point of view of spiritual perfection, doesn't matter. Yeah, of course, when we are in a material body, the kind of body has its pros and cons. But of course, Prabhupada has created an institution where there is ample opportunity to associate with whether one is a man or a woman. In fact, Prabhupada opened previously, even initiation was not available to women.
Yeah.
Deity worship was not available to women. So practically everything that men can do, women can do. Yeah, of course, we want to follow the Vedic culture to whatever extent possible. But spiritually, there is no impediment.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. I understand.
Yeah. Hari. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah, Sudhir Sundar.
Prabhu, I just want to confirm, even if a person wants to attain a Brahman platform or even a Paramatma platform beside going to the Bhagavan platform, he has to clear the Piraja river, is it? Because earlier on my understanding was Piraja river is the border between spiritual and material. I just want to confirm this point first, Prabhu.
One has to go to Brahman, one has to go beyond the Viraj. So Viraj is a neutral ground between matter and spirit. Basically, Viraj means where there is no raja, means no activity. So it's not fully spiritual, but it is a neutral ground where material energy is fully pacified. But true spiritual existence begins beyond Viraj. So sometimes some devotees say that, I don't know where it is quoted, but some devotees, senior devotees are of the opinion that the Buddhists enter into the Viraj, where, they lie down. They don't go into Brahman, but they end up into Viraj. So Viraj is a kind of a dead zone, something to that effect. But transcendence is beyond the Viraj. So all kinds of transcendentalists are expected to go beyond the Viraj, whether it is impersonalist or personal. But within the transcendental realm, there are multiple possibilities. Brahman, Vaikuntha, within Vaikuntha, and higher than Vaikuntha, there is Saketa Dham of Lord Ramchandra. Higher than that, there is Krishna's Mathura. Higher than Mathura is Krishna's Dwarka. Higher than Dwarka is Krishna's Vrindavan. Like that, there are multiple attainments, all beyond Viraj.
Okay, Prabhu, thank you. Prabhu, can I just ask another question?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Prabhu, what sadhaka sometimes we are involved in devotional service, let's say to what serve the deities and even the what senior Vaishnavas and all. So many a times it is not because we are qualified to do that kind of seva, but because time, place, and circumstances, or we have taken that particular seva and so on. So going back to your earlier points, you were telling that externally we might be involved in that particular service, but internally we haven't come to that level, Prabhu. So is this progression in our devotional life? How do we
So devotional
how
service,
do we understand this, Prabhu? Thank you.
Thank you. Our process is a process where our process and our goal are not different. In all other systems, there is some goal to be attained and there is a process to attain the goal. But in bhakti, the means and the end are the same. Correct? Yeah. Okay. For example, for jnana, for impersonal liberation, the process is jnana and the end game is liberation. After liberation, one is not doing jnana speculation or Upanishadic study. One is not doing. Bhakti is the process or the goal where the goal and the means are exactly the same, which means we are engaging in bhakti now, and when we achieve perfection, we will continue to engage in bhakti. What will be the difference? The difference is now we are doing out of a sense of duty as a regulated sadhana. At that time, we will do with pure love. So always in the process of bhakti, our starting point is to do it as a sadhana, right? And that is why initially, even though we may not have love, we do it under the instructions of the seniors. Where we understand we are not qualified. For example, are we actually qualified to serve the deity? Answer is no. Then why do we serve? Because we are instructed by Guru. Under his directions, we serve in a mood that we are assisting him. So as long as sadhakas, we maintain this understanding and we execute the limbs of devotion service as instructed by Guru and the seniors, not forgetting that we are actually unqualified, but by engaging in this process, we will become qualified. Just like the holy name, right? Are we experiencing the kind of symptoms on the holy name when we are chanting? So should we wait until that day we will feel ecstasy that we chant? And today I am getting that electric shock of prema. So now I can start. No, the process to get that shock of prema is to continue to chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram. So we are unqualified, but we are doing the activities on the liberated platform without having the realization of liberation. But by doing that, we will get the realization of liberation, after which we will continue to do the same activity with the realization of liberation. So that is how the bhakti process works. And why bhakti is the only process which has this quality is because bhakti is the natural nature of the soul. It is not an extraneous process. Because by engaging in bhakti, one's innate devotional potential becomes awakened. Rupa Goswami says very nicely that Krishna prema sadhya kabu noy shravanadi shuddha chitte kare uday. Nitya siddha Krishna prema is inside, but right now because it is in a seed form, it is dormant. You are not going to feel any devotion. But as you continue to follow the process of hearing, chanting, serving, worshipping the deity, whatever other instructions Guru gives us, Shravan Adi, Shravan and others, Shuddha Chitte, when the Chitta becomes Shuddha, Karoho Uday, it will eventually manifest. So that's why the process of bhakti works differently. In the process of bhakti, one acts as if one is on the liberated platform of bhakti. At least in sadhana bhakti, of course, we don't become familiar with the Lord, we don't embrace Him and dance with Him and kiss Him and all that, and that will become sahajiya then, very cheap. But the limbs of Navavidha bhakti, we engage even though in a mechanical way, with faith and under the instructions of Guru. Then one's innate Krishna consciousness will awaken, and then the same limbs one can do with pure devotion. And that is one of the reasons sometimes it's so difficult to understand between two devotees. One may be doing with great faith and love the same activity, another may be doing without any taste, simply out of a sense of duty. That's also good, but he may not be on the same platform as a devotee who's actually doing with great relish, great faith. So that's how the process of bhakti works. So yes, we understand even when we enter the process of bhakti, we have been given the seed of devotion. We don't have emotion, but to cultivate that seed and make that seed fructify and that prema to become from dormant to active, we have to go through that process under the directions of but of course, all these activities that we engage, we must do carefully under the instructions of Guru and senior Vaishnavas, because if we are not careful, we may end up committing aparad. That aparad could be seva aparad, it could be nam aparad, it could be Vaishnava aparad. So having said that, it doesn't mean we are whimsical and we just think I can do anything and everything, because if we are not careful, we may end up getting ourselves into trouble rather than make spiritual advancement. But the principle is still that we do activities without realization so that we will realize that activity. Because that activity is inherent to our eternal spiritual position. Does that help, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, because even many of the sevas which we do, we are supposed to have the thinking that we are doing on behalf of the Guru. So
Correct.
that's that basic understanding. Yeah. But it's a very tricky kind of situation. But as you said, we have to go through it and we have to endeavor. Otherwise, we won't move anywhere.
Otherwise we'll not grow. Yeah. See, so if we do it with this consciousness, and that is why before seva, before even entering kitchen, remember we are supposed to pray to Guru, we are supposed to pray to Radharani, and remind ourselves that I am doing in this mood. Even for our arti, right? Every item we offer, we first show it to Guru. Why? To remind ourselves, this is, I am not qualified. He's the one who's told me, and on his behalf, I am offering. So that meditation will help. That meditation will always help us in every service to keep our ego at bay and to in a humble sense of seva, approach the Lord. Then we will be very rapidly purified. If you are not careful to develop that consciousness, then even though we may execute the limbs of devotional service, our progress will be very slow. That is why some devotees progress rapidly and other devotees stagnate over decades. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, Tarun, you
Okay,
have
thanks, Prabhu.
Hi Krishna Prabhuji. I have a question. Prabhuji, actually last week I was able to meet different three Prabhujis from ISKCON who were visiting Hyderabad, and their points basically came on chanting. And everyone says that we should wake up during the Brahma Muhurat and do the chanting in the morning, and that's very well known. But Prabhuji, what happens sometimes? Your work life is like that. It simply end up at the midnight or sometime one or sometime two, and just waking up after just the next couple of hours is is getting impractical. So, what to do in that sense? Because if you are not doing at that time, it is not considered good sometimes. So, I was just simply thought to ask, but I just could not.
we must make all efforts to align our life in such a way that our sadhana can be given the right place, the right slot, and the right priority that it deserves. So, if you ask any spiritual masters or Prabhupada, that's what they will tell. That is the mark of a serious devotee. Now, occasionally situations will come where work is overwhelming, service is overwhelming, health is not good, but that's a different issue. Occasional adjustment and always adjusting are two different things. So that answer, each of that the answer to this question, each of us has to ask himself, am I making sufficient effort to prioritize my sadhana over other activities? So, if genuinely one is not able to because of, someday one is, has slept very late, and had to get up late the next day morning. But of course, that is understandable. That happens with everybody, or, too much busy, and that time the rounds, pile up over the day and have to be completed. Yeah, that's understandable. That happens with everyone. Sometimes even with gurus and sannyasis, it happens especially on festival days with devotees who have so many services. So all these things happen, but one must not make an exception the norm. So even if otherwise one is not able to immediately do it, at least one must slowly work towards it. One has to over time develop that habit, give that priority. So no need to be uh, depressed that I'm not able to. But one must know that this is what I need to work towards. And usually, if a devotee is, sincere and making an effort, Krishna will give both the intelligence how to make it possible, and oftentimes, the Lord may also alter the situation in due course based on His own sweet will to make things possible which were not possible earlier. So that is the experience of devotee. So first thing is we must want it. There are two things. Are we, and I'm not talking about you, I'm saying a general comment. Are we looking for excuses to not do it and go on convincing our teachers and guides and counselors and gurus that, I have a good reason I can't do this? Or are we trying to find a way continuously to make it possible? Yes, one may be failing sometimes, but, one is not uh, giving up that endeavor to continuously improve. So that endeavor to continuously improve is a process which one has to continuously be on. Excellence in devotional service. That never ends actually. That never ends even in the spiritual world. Even in the spiritual world, even the perfected devotees are always thinking how I can do my service better. Even the perfected souls, even Radharani, is thinking maybe, she's never thinking, there's nothing better than this that I can do. She's also always thinking, Krishna liked it like this time. Maybe I should, next time try this twist in the spice. Let's see how he enjoys it. So devotional service is always very dynamic. So Krishna is okay. Very simple point. We are at our individual level. We are what we are, conditioned and whatever. Krishna is more interested in seeing is Tarun doing his best, really and sincerely. Your best may not be the same as the best of another person. Sorry, I muted you as your background was very noisy. So yeah, so that's what matters. So you have to understand what is the direction you are working in. If each one of us is sincere and makes that effort, Krishna is actually very, very accommodative. Krishna has patiently waited for us for millions of lifetimes. Can he not wait for a few more days? And ultimately, he's only the one who's guiding us, inspiring us, making things possible. So ultimately, we have to be honest and sincere to ourselves. We can convince the whole world about how I am so tied up that I cannot do. And we may even convince the whole world, but Krishna knows exactly, are we laxing or are we genuinely not able to do because of circumstances? Krishna is one person we cannot cheat, right? Yeah. So make that assessment for yourself, and even if we fail, continuously keep up the effort to improve, and Krishna will be pleased, and Krishna will help us to find better and better ways of improving ourselves and making our service more and more pleasing to him. Okay. So continue. You're doing well. Continue your effort. Yeah, that struggle will continue until the creeper touches the lotus feet of Krishna. Hari Hari. That's all of for all of us, not just for you. Okay. Hari Hari. Jai Ho. All of such wonderful devotees. Thank you all so much. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Advaitacharya ki jai, Samaveta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Prabhupada. So I'll
Hare
talk to you on next Saturday. Yeah, for Bhagavatam. Thank you, Sneha ji, Indulekha.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Mataji, Sini ji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Pranam.
Yeah,
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
thank you. Suraj and Shalini Mataji also. Thank you. Thanks to everyone.